The NFL Week 17 recap and playoff scenarios edition of the NFL Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, props, game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by the Hockey Gambling Podcast, brand new YouTube page. The hockey guys are over there giving away a hoodie to celebrate their new YouTube channel. Register today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP.
I'm just about that action, boss.
You have to be kidding me. That is impossible.
I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants any deal?
Jordan Davis, dog. Jalen Hurts, dog. A.J. Brown, dog. How many people want in the W tonight?
And welcome, everybody, to the NFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Tuesday, January the 2nd, which means we're recapping Week 17 in the National Football League. Only got one more week, man. It's sad. It's ending. Playoffs will be here before we know it. But if you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac. He is JMark Football, a.k.a. Old Fashioned Football. JMark, how you doing, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We haven't talked since last year. It's crazy. My wife is very tired of hearing things like that already. Yeah, it was a good weekend of football. It was a good weekend hanging out with some family and friends, and Nick Fortune joining in on the jokes. He hasn't seen either of us since last year either. Welcome, Nick. You also haven't commented about the Commanders getting Matt Ryan, so you might as well throw that in now. I'm sure Moneyline misses
start
it.
that shit. Don't you start that shit to this new year. No, we don't need Matt Ryan. We do need a quarterback, but not Matt Ryan. J Mark, we got some playoff scenarios here, and we'll dive into. I guess we can lead it off here. I know you got the ESPN. ESPN sucks in a lot of ways, but one of their good things is the ESPN NFL playoff machine. I will give them credit for that. I say we started off in the NFC East. Scenarios pretty self-explanatory. Dallas needs to win over the Redskins to clinch the division. If they don't, then the Eagles can, I guess, backdoor their way. If they can beat the Giants, they can't beat anybody right now.
True.
Any thoughts on the NFC East before we move along and go division by division with each scenario?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely an interesting one because, like you said, the Eagles just lost to the Cardinals, and the Giants played feisty against the Rams. I could see them showing up at home, just trying to ruin the Eagles there. And we saw what happened last year with the Commanders playing Dallas. They won when they weren't supposed to. So who knows what could happen? Can Detroit still get the second seed if both those teams lose? It's going to be interesting to see there. But man, I don't know. I think the Cowboys win the division. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it will be the last stand for Riverboat Ron, the final game of the era. But yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee Philly wins that. So those two teams are going to be locked into the 2 and 5 seed, whether they win or I guess actually timeout. The Lions could go up to the 2 if both lose.
Yeah.
Or if Philly wins and Dallas loses.
Yeah.
So
correct. And if you for whatever reason think that the Commanders are going to beat the Cowboys and that the Eagles are going to win, that means the Eagles would have the division. I'm seeing that at plus 750 right now.
That is quite juicy, but that would also require the Redskins to win a game. They've lost, I think, 7 in a row and don't seem to be fighting at all for Riverboat Ron. So, so that's the 2 seed and the NFC East. Moving along down, the NFC North is obviously clinched with Detroit. All of a sudden, fucking Green Bay is, as of right now, in the 7th seed. They're in a win-in-your-in game after that win over Minnesota. Your Bears, unfortunately, were eliminated. Any other scenarios in the NFC North that I'm missing? Minnesota's eliminated, correct?
I believe Minnesota is eliminated. Yes. The only scenario there as far as a gambling perspective, I like, if you think the Bears are going to win, right now they're plus 144 on the money line. Packers not to make the playoffs, which is just a Bears win, is plus 152. So you can get a little more juice if you just bet Packers not to make playoffs.
There you go. Get on over there. We'll touch about that tomorrow because we actually wait. No, we won't have them. They're in the late window, right?
They are. Yeah, they're in that 3:25 afternoon game.
There's actually, sorry, I'm wrong. There is a scenario for the Minnesota Vikings still to get in. But I mean, obviously they shot themselves in the foot with that pathetic display. They to make the playoffs, they are going to obviously need to win. They're going to need the Packers to lose. And where is the other scenario?
Okay, so they got Cardinals need to beat Seahawks, Bears need to beat Packers,
Yes.
Vikings need to beat Lions, and Falcons need to beat Saints.
So basically it's over. Yeah. So if you want to play that parlay, good luck getting on over there and hitting that thing if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan. This next division is a shit show because this will be the 4 seed. By the way, the Lions most likely 3 seed. We talked about they can get all the way up to 2. Green Bay wins, and they are the 7th seed. I believe the Rams are locked into the 6th seed.
I think that's correct. Seems like everything I'm changing on here. The Rams stay put.
Yes, so the Rams locked into 6. We'll talk about the West here in a minute, but let's talk the 4 seed NFC South to go chronological order here. Tampa Bay, of course, gets drilled by New Orleans because it's the NFC South and nothing fucking makes sense. Both teams sitting at 8-8. If the Saints just played in Tampa Bay every week, they would go to the Super Bowl like you predicted. But unfortunately, they have to play the Falcons this week at home, so they'll probably drop that. Falcons are not eliminated either. They're 7-9. So the scenario is easy. Tampa Bay wins the division. If they win in Carolina, that's a high-pressure game. I don't think that they're locked to win that game. That number is kind of short, to be honest. And then New Orleans and Atlanta play. If Tampa Bay does fall, that's a win in your end game for whoever wins that game. So there is a scenario where the fucking Falcons could still win the division despite just completely shitting down their leg down the stretch.
Disgusting. That is just disgusting. Yeah, I'm seeing, so for the NFC South winner right now, Tampa Bay's the favorites at minus 245. But if you believe in those Saints, they're plus 370. If you believe in the Falcons, plus 730. So if you think those scenarios are going to play out, you got to bet those, right? You can't not.
Yeah, I mean, and then I'd have to look. What is it parlayed with the Panthers winning? I would imagine it's about the same odds, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, so like they both need help. It would not shock me if Tampa Bay shit themselves. They had a chance to put this thing away. Now you got to go on the road, divisional matchup. The winner of that division is locked into the 4th seed, most likely playing Philly. We're probably going to get a Stafford golf playoff game in Detroit. I mean, What are your thoughts on potentially getting that matchup?
I mean, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Especially if Stafford wins it, because fuck the Lions. RD is pointing out, and he's correct here. If the Rams lose and Packers win, the Packers do hold the tiebreakers. So
correct. Yeah, they beat him in Lambeau. Good call.
Yep. So then you could see Packers Lions. I'd rather see the Rams and Lions, with the Goff and Stafford rivalry there. But like I said to RD in the chat, that's a big if the Packers win. So get out of here with that.
Yeah, no, don't sleep on the Bears this weekend. They got nothing to play for other than to fucking ruin the Packers season like the Lions did last year. Other teams that are mathematically eliminated. This is an easier way of doing it, by the way. Teams that are mathematically eliminated in the NFC in the basement is Carolina. They're 2-14. Well, don't look now. Washington has the second pick in the draft. Let's go, baby, because the Cardinals got it done. Both at 4-12. The Bears the Giants are the next one at 5-11. They're eliminated. And the Bears at 7-9 are eliminated, despite arguably being the hottest team in the NFC. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're heading into a scenario in Week 18 where 11 out of the 16 teams are playoff eligible still,
which is crazy.
Yeah, the NFL's getting what they want, parity. So
true.
Let's go over to the AFC, and this one's self-explanatory. Obviously, the Jets and Patriots are out. Don't look now. Buffalo win, and you are the fucking 2 seed. Lose, and it's the Steelers beat the Ravens, and the Jaguars beat the Titans. They're both favored. The Bills miss the playoffs. So we potentially, on Sunday night when they play, the Lions and Bills, the Bills could either be the 2 seed or potentially miss the playoffs. I can't remember a scenario where I've ever seen something like this. Such a high ceiling, but such a low floor. But you know what? That sums up the 2023 Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, no, it really does. I mean, there was a time that we were saying, are they even going to make the playoffs? And they've gone on this big run, which you called, by the way. You said Bills are about to start thumping people, and they did. Insane, too, because the Ravens, they got the number 1 seed locked. There's nobody touching them. So maybe they don't start Lamar and some of their playmakers, and that gives Steelers even better chance of winning that game. We love Tomlin as a home dog. He's going to be – or a away dog. He's going to be an away dog. I mean, it's one of those things. The only thing is, I don't think the Dolphins can do it. They need a bounce back game after getting embarrassed by the Ravens, but I don't think they can do it. We've been off on them all year of, they're going to do really good against these bad teams, but against good teams, they're going to get beat. And that's exactly what is happening. So it's a big if, that's a bigger if than if the Packers beat the Bears, but
no doubt. I mean, so I mean, you mentioned it, man. The Dolphins, too, they have a big drop here. They're either going to be the 2 seed with the win, or you're going to be the 6 seed, and you're headed to fucking Kansas City in the first round. Talk about, and for a team that doesn't play well on the road, in the cold, and against decent teams, I would not want to start on the road in Kansas City, even though they're not playing well. So, big game for both those teams Sunday night. AFC North, you already mentioned it. Ravens locked into the 1. By the way, the Niners are locked into the 1 as well. I know I kind of crowbarred both. So I crowbarred kind of the NFC West and the NFC North together. The Browns, I believe, are locked into the 5 seed, and they will play the winner of. I mean, that's a shit show. I'll go right to it. The AFC South is a shit show. Jaguars in with the win. If they lose, then the winner of Colts Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all 9-7. Shit show division here.
It is. The odds I'm seeing right now, Jaguars -225, Colts +450, Texans +460. Why the Colts are favored over the Texans is beyond me, but because I said the Texans were going to win out after Stroud came back, sneak into the playoffs. I don't like them as much in a 7 seed against Buffalo, but if the Jaguars lose, I guess then they play the Browns. That's tough too. It's at Houston. Texans, I think they make the playoffs. I don't think they go beyond that though. They make the playoffs. They lose that first round. They got a tough matchup either way. Bills, Browns probably. So it's going to be tough for them, but a great start for CJ Stroud and this Texans organization.
Indeed. And the winner of the Colts and Texans is going to the playoffs, which is pretty wild. That one of those teams is going to be a 10-win team, a young team that's going to find a way into the playoffs in the first year. Coaches with D'Amico Ryans at Houston, and then first-year head coach Shane Steichen in Indy. So both honestly, coach of the year may be on the line. Although I think we both kind of agree that Stefanski's probably going to win it.
And he's a heavy favorite. You know who's no longer a heavy favorite? Comeback player of the year, DeMar Hamlin, down to just -145 and at +105.
Flacco.
Fucking Flacco.
So they do that award, I believe, right before the Super Bowl. So if Flacco wins a playoff game or two, goes into Baltimore and beats them, oh my God, you give that shit to Flacco all fucking
Agreed.
day.
Agreed.
AFC West, the Chiefs are locked in. They're going to be the 3 seed. They can't drop because they beat Jacksonville head to head. I don't think there's a scenario where Kansas City can drop to the 4. So
Yeah, I'm clicking on everything, and as far as Kansas City is concerned, and nothing is changing there. So I think that's correct.
yeah, it's a lot of scenarios, man, and we'll basically we'll give out our playoff bracket based off of our predictions here tomorrow. So you'll want to tune in same time tomorrow. But first, before we dive into the recap action for Week 16, you got to talk about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is here. No Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football is over this year. Thursday Night Football is over this year. Probably limited options for NFL right now, just because we're still 5-6 days out. We do have 2 Saturday games. We do have 14 Sunday games. JMark, are you looking at any ones on PrizePicks that you want to target here? Maybe those Saturday games between the Ravens and Steelers. That'll be the first leg, and then the second leg is that winning your in game, basically between the Indianapolis Colts and Houston Texans.
Yeah, like you said, it is limited right now since it's Tuesday. We don't have any games till Saturday, but one I am seeing, so put this into your entries no matter which way you decide to go, but Devin Singletary, 58.5 rushing yards. Now, he needs 165 total yards to get a contract bonus that's worth, I think, $150,000. Do I think he gets that? No, but do I think he runs his ass off and tries to get as close to it as possible? Yes. So I like more than 58.5 rush yards for Devin Singletary. Throw him into the entries that you're building.
There you go. Get over there, back Singletary, and get over there to PrizePicks. Great place. You can stack winners on top of each other and get better odds, bigger payout. And let's go. PrizePicks.com/SGPN. Code SGPN for your first match up to $100. That's PrizePicks.com/SGPN. Code SGPN. PrizePicks, daily sports made easy. I forgot one team on the scenario. Seattle, even though they don't deserve it after they fucking lost to Pittsburgh at home. They need a lot of help. They can still get the 17 with the Packers loss. Sound familiar? Was this is the exact scenario last year when all Green Bay had to do was close it out at Lambeau, and if not, then the Lions got it done. Seattle backdoored their way into it. There are scenarios out there. Well, obviously the AFC South is probably going to get 2 teams in, which is absolutely remarkable. There is a scenario where the NFC South gets 2 teams in, where if all the teams lose and the Saints win and get to 9-8 and the Bucks win, you could have a New Orleans and Tampa Bay playoff teams, which is unbelievable to think about because that division is so bad. If they end up with 2 fucking playoff teams, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I like the angle of betting Seahawks Bears money line if you want the Seahawks in the playoffs because Geno Smith, I was talking about contract incentives, $2 million bonus if they make the playoffs. That's some nice cash for him. So he's going to be playing his ass off.
Indeed. They're going to be such freaking big. They're going to be such big Bears fans like they were Lions last year. We'll see if the Packers shit on themselves once again in Lambeau in Week 18. But let's dive into all these other games that we saw. First up, Thursday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns, a.k.a. the Joe Flacco's. This was a letdown spot, and Flacco just completely torched a good Jets defense. Thoughts other than Joe Flacco's the GOAT and MVP?
I would like to point out that since Joe Flacco started, the team to hold him the least amount of points was the Bears.
Indeed. Very true.
Just to give my Bears some credit. No, Joe Flacco's playing out of his fucking mind. It's been, I don't know, it's weird to see, but it's kind of refreshing, right? To see this guy who did have a really good career basically come off the couch, come back in and run the offense the way he did to show that he's not too old to do this. He's not washed up. It has been nice, which kind of brings me to some of the comments in the chat here. Who's going to play Flacco this offseason and find out it was a fluke? RD says the Commanders. Just so you know. Man, maybe it's all the heat you're throwing to the Packers today, though.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's guessing that. But no,
I
Flacco's
want
been great.
chaos.
Flacco's been really good, and to team that with the defense that they have, this team is going to cause some issues in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would not want to play them. Fuck no.
No.
But yeah, no, I mean, all the heat's because JMark's paying me on the side to bash the Packers today. You guys didn't know that. Yeah, so Browns, like we said, 12-5, unbelievable year. 11-5, maybe soon to be 12-5 if they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Unbelievable win, and nobody wants to play this team in the playoffs. So we'll see. They'll get a favorable matchup. They'll get the winner of that AFC South, which is a bad division. They're going to be laying points on the road, whoever they play, and they're going to be favored to go into Baltimore in the divisional round as a matchup. They're not going to be favored at Baltimore. They're going to be favored to get to Baltimore and have a rematch with Flacco.
Yeah, which is going to be fun to watch for sure.
I hope it really happens. So, unbelievable story. Go Browns, go. Jets continue to suck. We don't need to talk about them. 6-10. They need a quarterback. Or they need their quarterback back. Mr. Pat McAfee show, Aaron Rodgers. Next up,
They need a quarterback.
Game of the week, maybe. And of course, we got more freaking clown officials here. Lions got jobs in this game, man. That offensive lineman went right up to the freaking referee, reported eligible. He ignored it. Dallas escapes, basically all but clinching the 2 seed. All they got to do is beat Riverboat Ron. What could go wrong, Dallas, right? I mean, credit to Dallas for finding a way to get a win. That was a high entertaining game, lower scoring than I think everybody thought. I mean, the total was like 55. Lions are gritty though, man, and I think we're going to see a rematch of this exact matchup in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely very possible. Now, there is a small chance. I was reading some stuff apparently in the NFL handbook section. I don't remember the section, but the commissioner does have the ability to overturn a game based off of bad officiating that happens in the last few seconds of the game. What better game to do that to than this? And fuck the Cowboys and say, you guys didn't really win. I doubt it happens, though. They're not going to mix it up that much. But Cowboys, they are not a good team. I think we can agree that they are not a very good team. They got really lucky in this game. Jared Goff did not play well at all. The Lions, it's been a great story for Lions fans. I don't see them going deep into the playoffs, though.
So who do you in that conference other than San Francisco? Because I have no idea what's going to happen in the NFC. I'm with you. Like Dallas, I guess by default's the second best team, but I mean, is anybody really scared to go to Dallas in the playoffs with their track record of throwing up all over themselves? I don't think so.
No, I don't either. 49ers and Rams, right? I mean, who else?
Yeah.
Who else are you scared of in the playoffs? Nobody.
Packers.
I said in the playoffs.
Yeah. Too bad the Bears aren't getting in, man. I think the Bears actually could make some noise, which is crazy. Yeah. But yeah, no, Cowboys, most likely 2 seed, got to handle business on Sunday against Ron. I actually kind of want Dallas to win. I want the second pick. I don't want to fucking win some bullshit meaningless game and drop to like 8th. I saw that we could go like from 2nd all the way down to 8th or 9th. Everybody's done their job. Shout out to Arizona. Shout out to New England. You guys have put us in a hell of a position. We can get our quarterback. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
I don't know if you are a mock draft guy. I do it for fantasy football purposes to try to start predicting where people are going to go. But I went over to PFF and traded that first pick from the Bears to Commanders, and it simulated them using that number 1 pick on Drake May. So there you go. Another North Carolina quarterback. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Better than Caleb Williams.
I like them both. I mean, I know Caleb Williams had a lot of baggage this year, but he's still super talented. So I don't know. I need to dive more into it. Yeah. I do like Drake May though. So
yeah,
I'll tell you what else I like. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying better leader. That's all I was gonna say. Drake May's a better leader than Caleb Williams.
Agreed. I'll tell you what else I like though, JMark. I like Game Time a lot. Game Time is a great place to get over there, buy tickets, and it's not stressful. I mean, you're just worried about getting over to the games. You want to get over there to Lambeau Field this weekend, cheer on your Packers to see if they can make the playoffs, or you want to play spoiler like JMark and say, let's go Bears. Let's ruin the freaking pack. We don't need freaking Jordan Love going to the playoffs. Get that shit out of here. So if you want to do so, get over to Game Time. You'll get the best tickets, best prices guaranteed. And they have flash deals, last-minute tickets, easy way to find images of your seat sent right to your phone so you don't got to dig through all your emails and all that garbage that other freaking platforms got. So Game Time, last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. You don't got to plan in advance. Snag the tickets without stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code CFBX, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code CFBX, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by the Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets. Research every NFL, NBA, soccer with historical data and stats. Enter all parlays into the revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get each and every leg broken down to see which one's got better rates than others, which one's got values. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users with Hall of Fame Bets to craft a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame Bets or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with the Hall of Fame Bets. All right, we're back. Moving along in the slate, let's go to the early window. Don't look now. My team is freaking covered like 4 out of 5, baby. They almost won this fucking game. The Bills were asleep at the wheel, man. They ran. Patriots run back the kick. Bills get it done, though. We already talked about the scenario. Thoughts on this game?
Well, when you started that ad read with, you know what else I like? I thought it was going to be the Patriots covering over and over to end the season here.
I knew it.
No, yeah, Bills did look sleepy. They're going to have to pick it up if they. I mean, I think we agree they're going to beat the Dolphins, and maybe they were looking ahead a little bit to that. But even in the playoffs, they're going to have to play better than this. And then shout out to the Patriots. They've not had a good season, obviously, but they've closed the season so far playing like they at least have some pride, which is what you expect the Patriots to do. But this has been such a different Patriots team where they're undisciplined. They don't look like they have pride, and now they're finally showing that. So shout out to Belichick, probably going out of New England in style by at least covering some games, keeping them close and whatnot. And I think they win next week. Spoiler alert.
Oh, God. They're going to kill the Jets. Like, that's going to be his fucking Super Bowl to beat the Jets one last fucking time. I think he's beaten like 16 in a row.
Yeah.
The Jets are fucked. They're going to get fucking ran out of that building. 10-0. Typical Belichick blowout. 10-0. Patriots win. Bills, like you said, winning their end next week, 2 seed. If not, man, if those scenarios break against them, Steelers win, Jaguars win, then we'll be talking Sunday night that they got to win that game to get in the playoffs, or this is going to be one of the more disappointing teams I can ever remember missing the playoffs.
Yeah, 100% agree. I
mean,
it'll be, if they do miss, it'll be interesting to see, like, what are they going to do next year to shake it up, because the team seems broken. I mean, you shouldn't have a receiver as talented as Diggs having the games he's having. He's a disappointment, and maybe to an extent a distraction. I don't know.
I agree 100%. I mean, you don't have a team that has a scoring margin of plus 140 almost. Miss the play. Yeah. That doesn't happen. So, like you said, if they don't find a way to get this thing done on Sunday, long discussions, hard discussions for that offseason in Buffalo.
Agreed.
Another team that's going to have some long, hard discussions here because of their play recently, Chicago. Your Bears, man, continue to fucking roll teams. They just turned it on a little bit too late. And we talked about it at the middle of the season that we thought the Bears or the Packers could be the team that got back in it. The Packers started their streak earlier than the Bears. That's the reason the Packers are sitting in the scenario they are. The Bears were 2 weeks too late. They would be a playoff team that nobody would want to see.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's disappointing that they're at where they're at, because if you think about they blew a huge lead against the Broncos. They blew late fourth quarter leads against the Lions. And Browns. And then that Vikings game that Fields got hurt, they should have won that. So, I mean, you're talking about if things had just been a little bit different, we would have swept the Lions and the Vikings in the division after we've gone 2-3 years without being able to win many division games at all. It's disappointing, but it's something to build on. And you're right. There's going to be a lot of conversations. I mean, the crowd was cheering, we want Fields. We want Fields. Does ownership listen to them? Do they decide to start over again? I mean, we're in this vicious cycle of draft a quarterback, fire GM and coach, hire a new GM coach, draft another quarterback. And it just keeps going around and around. And at some point, they have to say, hey, this is good enough. We need to continue to build around this. And I think it's Fields. I mean, his play the last several weeks should show them that he's a guy that, yeah, maybe he's a little inconsistent in the passing game, but those are things you can fix with a good game plan and just more work with the quarterback. So I personally think they need to stick with him.
I agree. And I didn't think this year was playoffs or bust for the Bears.
Right. Agreed.
It was show flashes, and then next year should be you guys should be able to do what the Lions are doing. The Lions did the exact same thing. They just missed the playoffs. Honestly, it's been the exact same scenario. They were 1-7. You guys were 2-7. You have a chance to spoil the Packers. They spoiled the Packers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're red hot, 4 out of 5. I think you ride this momentum into next year, and I think you do what the Lions did. The proof is in the pudding. Ride the momentum, and I think the Bears will start fast next year and actually make the playoffs if they stick with this core. And you're sitting in a good position. You're not picking one because you guys suck. You're picking one because the Panthers suck.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of options on what you can do with that. I think I've been pretty vocal that I think the Bears need to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Probably don't take him at 1, but it's also hard to trade out of the top 3 spots and get him because I think he's going top 3. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. And that number 1 pick, though, it should be more valuable this year than it was last year. Everybody is so hot for, Caleb Williams and everything. It should be more valuable. So it's going to be really interesting. On the other side of the ball, Nick bringing up a good point. Arthur Smith could be back coaching the Falcons.
What the hell? The Falcons are a joke. Heineke gave them hope for 1 week. That team's broken because of Arthur Smith. They're going to move on. They get that one. They need to move on. And
one other thing, can you remind me which side you picked in this game?
Falcons. Fucking Heineke. The Heineke's let me down. I had a pretty good Sunday, but I did eat shit on this one. So congrats to you.
I just had to rub it in.
Cheers to your Bears. I tried to fade you. I thought you were feeling yourself. No, you guys are fucking rolling. I'll tell you what. If you had Colts -3.5, this is a brutal way to lose. Colts -3.5. If you had that was the right side. Literally the entire. I think they led by 7 or more. Literally the entire game because they scored on like the third play of the game. Colts eliminate the Raiders. The Raiders continue to fight though for Antonio Pierce. It's a horrible spot for them. Short week, but they fought to the end with Aiden O'Connell. Colts, they find ways to win games, man. And now all of a sudden, all they got to do is win a home game against a Texan team, and they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to how the Colts have played this year, especially after losing Anthony Richardson. And like you said, shout out to the Raiders fighting for Anthony Pierce. I agree with you. This game shouldn't have been this close at the end. I had the Colts, so bad beat for me. But I don't know. Both these teams should hang their head high no matter how the season ends, I think. And also, I don't know if I agree with the Aiden O'Connell decision of keeping him in. If Jimmy G was running this team that's running the ball well and playing lights out on defense, I mean, look what they did to Patrick Mahomes. Don't you think they'd be in a better position right now?
Yeah, especially with the way they're playing defense. Like you said, that's where Jimmy G made his name, was game manager with a good defense.
Right.
I think he would have been the perfect quarterback. He just was kind of broken by McDaniels. He also couldn't stay healthy. That's the other element with Jimmy G. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I did not agree with sticking with O'Connell. I know they probably want to see what they got with the rookie, but you're in the playoff scenario, man. You got to play to win.
Yeah, agreed. I 100% agree. And I don't think Aiden O'Connell has shown that he's the guy. I don't think he'll be their guy rolling into next year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll tell you who else. Tyrod Taylor. He was playing his ass off in this game against the LA Rams. The Giants almost completely ruined their draft position with this comeback win. Kind of touched on it in our preview that I know you still went with the Rams, but we both highlighted the sleepy spot that this presented with coming off all those great wins, and then they had the Niners on deck. It really doesn't matter anymore. They're locked into the 6 or 7 seed, like you said. I don't know. What was your thoughts? I mean, I thought Tyrod played pretty damn well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Ty God did look good, and he's looked good every opportunity I feel like that he's gotten for the Giants this year. And he should be back at least as their backup. If they don't bring him back as a backup, they're idiots, in my opinion.
They're idiots, yeah.
He's ran that offense very well, giving them a little bit of spark and showing that. I mean, you saw in that deep ball, I think it was to Wandale, that he's still got the vision. He's still got a hell of an arm. This is a guy that can still win you games. Is he a starting quarterback? I don't know about that, but he for sure should be a backup. And agree that the Rams just played a little sleepy. They need to make sure, obviously, they don't do that the next week here, especially if they do make the playoffs. I don't know if this is Stafford's last year, but he's got to be getting close.
Yeah, and we both agree that this is a dangerous team too. So, like you said, They got through. They survive in advance this time of year. They're lucky that that 2-point conversion did not get converted because it was a walk-in 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
That would have been incredible if the Giants pulled that off. But Giants looking ahead to the draft, Rams looking ahead to the playoffs. I'll tell you who's a team that's going to be looking ahead to the offseason here shortly. That's Philadelphia fucking Eagles. Oh, my God. I mean, I joked that this team was overrated 4 weeks ago. I didn't think they'd freaking flop like this, where you're losing to the Cardinals and Philly. I'm speechless. Yeah. I mean, I'm an Eagles hater, obviously, but I did not see this coming. I mean, we talked about it like, hey, sprinkle some on the money line, but it wasn't like, oh, the Cardinals are definitely going in there and getting a win. This was shocking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And they do have a lot of off-season questions. And I think they're going to be talking about them rather quickly, because if they can't beat the Cardinals at home, we said none of these playoff teams are very scary, but which of them can they beat if they play like this? If their defense can't stop people, which of these teams are they going to beat? It feels like none of them. The offense is being ran horribly. I mean, you have a good quarterback, Jalen Hurts, or Jalen Prescott, as you call him. Flaws or not, he is a good quarterback. A.J. Brown is a hell of a wide receiver. Devonta Smith is a good wide receiver. You got DeAndre Swift, who runs the ball hard, and you got the best offensive line. There's no reason you should be struggling in these games. And obviously they put up points, but their offense is it's too predictable. The play calling is terrible, and if they want to be good, they got to make a change there. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to continuously have these winning seasons.
Yeah, they're going in the complete opposite direction. I think they're the worst team in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah, I would agree to that. Just because, I mean, the defense is bad and the offense play calling is terrible.
They have one win in the last 5 weeks, and it was against the Giants, who were right there to steal the game from them. They this team, they may be able to beat the NFC South, maybe, if they get that lucky turnover margin. That's the only way, where they force like 3 turnovers. But you're right, man. This defense blows. They can't stop anybody.
No, not at all. Maybe they'll beat the Falcons if the Falcons can squeeze in there. I don't know if I trust them against the Saints or the Bucks. And I don't even think the Saints are that good, but
Well, let's go right over to that game. Shout out to the Cardinals for putting the Skins in the number 2 pick, baby. Kyler Murray, baby. I love you. Just like I said, what doesn't make sense will happen in the NFC South. 23-13, and it honestly was not even this close. This was an ass whipping. Saints came in there and kicked the Bucs' ass once again in Tampa Bay. I don't know what it is about Tampa Bay and the Saints. The Saints always play well down there. Punch them in the mouth, up 20-0 in the fourth quarter. For a minute there, though, I was like, "Oh my God, are the Saints going to do what they did at Lambeau and seriously blow a 20-point lead again?" But yeah, no, this is. I want to say this was shocking, but nothing shocks me in this division. This division sucks. I don't know. What
Let's
was your
say
thought?
I was going to say it wasn't shocking for you because you called it just like this. I picked the Bucks. I don't know if that was because I truly thought they would win, or it was one of those scenarios where the Bears needed the Bucks to win to further their playoffs, I guess. But yeah, this was a ugly game by the Bucks. They should have won this game and had this division wrapped up, but it was ugly. And so the Saints are in it. Saints Jags Super Bowl still alive. So you're saying there's a chance.
Dude, you know what? I mean, it would shock me, but it really wouldn't. Nothing shocks you in this fucking league anymore. I swear, these players are betting on the games. Yeah, it's crazy, absolute craziness. I'll tell you, the team that benefit, and we already talked about these scenarios in length at the beginning. Everybody, Bucks beat the Panthers. You're in. If you can't do that, you don't deserve to go to the fucking playoffs. Saints need help. Obviously, they need the Bucks to lose, and then they got to beat the Falcons. If the Bucks do win and the Saints do win, yeah, New Orleans finished well, but you dropped so many games with the easiest schedule in NFL history. To be honest, none of these teams really deserve to go, but somebody will. Maybe two. I told you there's a scenario where two of them get in, the Bucks and Saints. That would be repulsive.
Can we trade the Bears in for one of these teams?
Oh, I wish. Did
you see Oh, go ahead. I'll bring it up in 2 games here.
Okay. Well, let's just skim right through this. San Francisco, fucking clinches the 1 seed. Congrats, Nick Fortune. My Jacoby Brissett angle never had a chance. He didn't play. He pulled his hammy, shanked his hammy in practice. So once it was Sam, I go, oh, this is going to be ugly. Skins had their chances. Ron Rivera, shout out to him, punting down 17 with 3 minutes left. I got to play conservative, play the field position. Niners, great weekend for the Niners. Got that win, bounced back off that embarrassing Monday night loss, and then get the gift that the Eagles had choked away that game to clinch the 1 seed for them. Thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it started out close, and I was like, uh-oh, look out. But obviously didn't end that way. And Niners really lucky that Christian McCaffrey's injury isn't bad. Yes. He won't play next week. They're going to set him out just to rest. But I don't think he'll that's 2 weeks he's going to have off because they're going to have the bye. So I think he will be fine. But just really lucky that wasn't any worse because this team won't be the same without him.
Completely agree. Niners, heavy favorites in the NFC, I'd have to say. Who's beating them? I don't see it. I mean, I know it's the NFL. Anything can happen any given week. Trent Williams could go down. McCaffrey could go down. Debo could go down. But if they're fully intact with 2 weeks off, 2 weeks of prep, I don't see how they don't get to the Super Bowl. Yeah,
100% agree.
So good job, Niners. You guys are looking pretty. I kind of was all over this game. I forget. Did you flip with me? How about the Jags beating down the Panthers as soon as Trevor Lawrence got ruled ineligible? I think you took the Jags, right?
I believe so. I'd have to look. My desk is a mess right now, but
I want to say, and if don't quote me, everybody. I want to say her exact handicap was if Trevor Lawrence is out, we're going to be all over the Jags because the line's going to drop. Beathard is better than an injured Trevor Lawrence. And that was the case. This was never a game. The Panthers are so fucking bad. Oh my God, that team is so bad. They're playing like a team that's tanking for the number 1 pick, but they don't even have their pick.
Very true. This is what I say. Did you see the clip? Because you said the Panthers of the Panthers owner throwing his drink on Jaguars fans.
Oh, what a clown. What's wrong with that guy?
I don't know. I'm surprised. I mean, I haven't heard that he's getting, punished for that, but I'm surprised the league wouldn't do something about that. Like it's the Jaguars fans' fucking fault. Like, come on.
You should fucking throw a drink on your fucking self for that fucking Bryce Young trade. You fucking
no
jackass.
No doubt.
What a dumbass. You know what? I thought Dan Snyder left the league. Dan Snyder's residing in Carolina. He's living through David Temper down there, or whatever the hell his last name is. That what are you doing? You're the NFL owner and you're throwing your cocktail on the Jags fans.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. That was great. That made my day. I was like, hey, at least the Skins aren't the most dysfunctional franchise anymore. Carolina's number one by a mile right now. What the hell?
No doubt. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, because of what they invested, they're going to stick with Bryce Young going into next year. I know he's shown some flashes, but I don't know if I see them getting any better.
No, this franchise is going to be in turmoil for a while. With that, as long as the owner's got his hands on shit, I've lived this, Carolina fans. I've lived where the owner thinks he's the smartest fucking guy in the room. And you know what happens when you think you're the smartest man in the room? You got a coaching staff of Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel. List goes on. They're all on the same staff. You go 3-13 and you fire them all because you side with RG3. That's what happens when the owner coddles your quarterback. So
Yeah.
I don't even know if the Carolina staff's bad, but like when the owner picks a quarterback, that shit never ends well. So.
Yep.
Speaking
Agreed.
from experience, you guys, I mean, and every time they played the Niners with Kyle Shanahan or the Rams with Sean McVay or the Packers with Matt LaFleur or Mike McDaniel with the Dolphins, there it is. They all are on the same staff. I'm like, thanks. I didn't know. I knew that they were all on the same fucking staff in DC, and we let them all fucking walk. And now they're 4 out of the top 15 coaches in the league, and both all young too on the rise. So yeah. Panthers fans, I feel for you, but it is nice to have somebody else more dysfunctional than my franchise for a change. I'll tell you what, I talked about Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel ran the fuck out of the building. Baltimore are locks.
Yeah.
Not even close. Not even close. The Ravens are so goddamn good right now. Everybody's pumping up Harbaugh at Michigan. They need to be pumping up this Harbaugh in Baltimore. This team's on a freaking they're wrecking teams.
Yeah, 100%. I think I said it 2 weeks ago that I put in my Ravens Super Bowl ticket. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago. I know somebody that said I was a Ravens hater and a Lamar hater didn't like that I did that because I might jinx them. But it's hard to put a team above the Niners. But I feel like the Ravens are the best team in football right now. I mean, especially after they beat the Niners.
The way they
just
did,
playing,
too.
Yeah. They're playing lights out. That defense is good. The offense is good. It doesn't matter who they're using on offense. They're succeeding. So whether they're doing it on the ground, in the air, it doesn't matter. I mean, Odell Beckham is freaking relevant again. What is happening?
I'm going to fade them by default because I know how public they're going to be and how inflated they're going to be in the playoffs. Like, they're going to be laying these big-ass numbers, and it is the playoffs, but it's not going to feel comfortable betting against them. I can tell you that. And, like,
right.
I just keep watching them like they're so good on both sides of the football.
Yeah. 100% agree. I don't know. I think I'm still liking Ravens Niners Super Bowl and Ravens to win it. Sorry, Nick. I know you don't want the Ravens to beat the Niners, but that's what I feel should happen. They're the two best teams on each side.
If you're a Niners fan and you don't get it done this year, man, that's going to hurt because that thing is paved right there to the Super Bowl for them. In Vegas at the Raiders, your former rival. Niners, you guys need to get it done this year. I know you're going to have to play somebody from the AFC, but I mean, you got basically a cakewalk to the Super Bowl potentially, but Ravens continue to roll, clinch it. Let's talk about the Dolphins, dude. This fucking team is such a fraud. I mean, you can go to Baltimore and lose. I'm not killing you for losing to Baltimore.
Right.
You can't get drilled by 40 in week 17. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you can go and lose, but when you lose in this fashion, it shakes all the confidence. Doesn't go with any confidence, knowing that you just got killed. And I think they'll lose next week. I mean, we've talked about it. This team is the Cowboys, right? Yeah, they're good teams. They're a good team against bad teams. Against a good team, they suck.
They're a joke. They get blown out every time they play one of these teams. Remember them in Buffalo week 3? They got ran out of the building in that one too. And to make matters worse, Chubb got injured. Chubb's out for the year.
Yeah.
With 3 minutes left in a 40-point game, they left Chubb in the game, and he blew out his knee. So,
and that's
I
big.
mean, you're going to need that against Josh Allen. I think I'm with you. I think that they'll fight on Sunday just because they're in Miami, but I think they're going to lose by like 10. I just can't see Buffalo losing to them again or to them
No.
at all. They're so much better and so much more. Like, I don't know. I just, this Miami team is such a fraud. Like we say it over and over again, and they
Yeah.
continue to keep delivering to us. It's like, come on, man, you can't lose by 40.
Yeah, no kidding. The only way they win next week is if Tyreek Hill just really turns it on. He needs somewhere around 250 yards to break the record. So if he just really turns it on for that record, maybe they beat Buffalo, but I just don't see it happening.
I don't either. And yeah, the Dolphins are banged up on the offensive line too. So bad matchup. They're going to be one and done. They're going to lose to Buffalo. They're going to lose to Kansas City, and it'll be another year where they don't win a playoff despite being 11-3, and they padded the shit out of their resume with all these bad teams. So if you can't get a home playoff win this year, man, I don't know what to say to Dolphins fans. So another fan base, I don't know what to tell you. Titans, you guys, that was awful. We tricked ourselves into this one too. The Tennessee was going to battle and keep it close with Vrabel. No, they're that something went south quickly there over the last year when they collapsed last year, and then they didn't renew Vrabel's contract. That there's bad vibes in Nashville.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we talked about it last week. This team's going to look completely different next year. I mean, Will Levis will be the starter. I know he has started games this year, but he didn't start as their starter. Ryan Tannehill likely gone. Derrick Henry probably not there. I don't know if DeAndre Hopkins is playing another game. This team's going to look so different, and I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think they're going to all of a sudden turn it back on. They're gonna have some losing seasons several years in a row here, I feel like.
Yeah, it's bad. Let's go to the positive though. Tennessee, they suck. We've killed them the last 5 weeks because we continue to trick ourselves with Vrabel. How about the Texans, man? I mean, good for CJ Stroud coming back. We thought he'd be rusty. No, he was not. Texans winning your in game next week, even if they don't win. Now, I you said you're surprised at culture favorite. It actually just flipped. Houston is a 1-point favorite now in some spots. This is a you're playing with house money here on Saturday night. Both teams are. Like, they both want to go to the playoffs. They're both young teams, but just the strides that they've made in the first year head coaches is big time for both these organizations.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. And I kind of talked about it around the draft. I think we both did. They got the best quarterback in the draft, and then they got one of the best players with Will Anderson. Some risky moves probably with the trade they made to just go back-to-back 2 and 3, but it's showing that it's paying off already. And they have young receivers in like Nico Collins, Noah Brown, Tank Dell that are doing well. Devin Singletary, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he's a great running back, but he's done enough to be relevant and keep this offense churning on the ground too. I thought Dameon Pierce was going to be the guy. Did not happen this year, which is really disappointing to me fantasy-wise, but shout out to the Texans. They're believing, and I don't see them slowing down any year soon. They're going to continue to be relevant, and this we talked about, this division is going to be fun to watch.
Indeed. Yeah, there's some bright spots in this division. Colts when they get Richardson back, Texans when they get their guys back. Glad to have Stroud back. Stroud, Richardson, Lawrence. Talk about the Titans. The Titans are way behind these three franchises right now from a future aspect. So they got to get their quarterback, find out if Levis is him. But I'll tell you who is him. Mike Tomlin's him. How the hell did he do it again? He did it again. He extended the streak. This team, Mason Rudolph, wins back-to-back games, gets Tomlin over the hump again. Oh, this is incredible. Now the Steelers fans are messaging me, oh, we can make the playoffs. It's like, you guys suck. Just be glad you're 9-7. I don't know how the hell this team got there. They lost to the Patriots, lost to the Cardinals, but Tomlin rallies the troops these last 2 weeks. You got to give them a ton of credit, man. They don't quit.
Yeah, 100% agree. Mason Rudolph's played well. It's interesting. What do you think of the rumors that are coming out that Kenny Pickett refused to be backup this last weekend. Is he
Oh,
done in Pittsburgh?
if that's if that's the case, yeah, you got to move on. He ain't
Yep.
that good. Like he's
No.
like Mac Jones. Like some of these guys, man, they think they're way better than they are. It's like, who the hell are you to be acting like a little fucking bitch? Is what you're acting like. You need
Agreed,
to
yeah.
deliver a little bit more. Like Mahomes and Brady, when they act like that, you can be like, all right, you know what? They're one of the greatest of all time, and they elevate our team. Kenny Pickett, get the hell out of here. Mac Jones, get the hell out of here. We're fine without you, and they've proven that.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. I agree. I think he'll be out of there. I expected better things for him this year. I thought he'd take another step forward, but not the case. So Steelers got a lot of questions at quarterback, but the fans are right. They could technically make the playoffs. Now, I don't see them doing much in the playoffs, but they could make
No.
it. So shout out to them for that, I guess.
Oh, I hope they don't make it. Oh, God. Because that means Buffalo would miss it. And that means Miami would get a cakewalk. Miami would get another gift, and they would play freaking Pittsburgh. And they probably would beat the hell out of Pittsburgh and Miami. But what do you expect from Kenny Pickett? He's a pick guy. Everybody should have seen that one coming. He'd shit pit. Seahawks, they got nobody to blame but themselves. They were 6-3, 6-2. Had the division lead. I mean, we talked about it at the midseason that we were skeptical that they could hold on.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see a scenario where they were going to miss the playoffs. This has been a collapse.
Yeah, same. I agree. This happened last year with Geno. He started the season looking great, and then in that back half, it's like, did he lose it? What happened here? How did he look so good and now he doesn't? Same thing this year. Started off looking great and now not looking good at all. Does get a $2 million bonus if they make the playoffs, so you know he's going to play his ass off on Sunday. I think they play Sunday. But yeah, there's no excuse to drop games like this one to Mason Rudolph, and just the games that they have been dropping this second half of the season. They're a good team. They just can't get out of their own way, it feels like.
Well, it was really surprising that they dropped it at home too. They're not supposed to lose at home. And one of their wins in the second half was with Drew Lock. It wasn't even with Geno, the Philly game. Yeah. So that also speaks to how bad Philly is that they lost to Drew Lock.
No doubt.
So yeah, it is wild. Yeah. So Seahawks need a lot of help. We went to that scenario. Steelers need some help as well. Need the Dolphins to win. Need the Titans to win. Or no. They just need the Dolphins to win, and they win and they're in.
Yep.
So. All righty. Next up on the slate, we don't need to dive into. This game was atrocious. I watched this game. I had the Chargers. I don't know how they didn't cover. They just they would drive and then they would stall. Drive and stall. Easton stick, terrible. Stidham was okay.
Right. I expected him to look better.
So did I. This is such a Broncos win in Mile High, 16-9. They're eliminated. LA's eliminated. I don't have much else on these two teams. I'm glad I don't have to watch them after next week.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're just two teams that are going to go into the offseason with a lot of questions. Russ Wilson likely out of Denver. They're going to cut him and take a huge cap hit because of it. The Chargers, I don't even know what they're going to do. Eckler might be gone. I don't know. It's going to be confusing. These teams are going to have a lot of decisions to make, I feel like, because the Broncos should have been better after spending all that draft capital on Russ Wilson and Sean Payton, but they're not. And the Chargers should be better when you look at their roster, but they're not. So they all have a lot of questions to get answered.
Could be Belichick.
Belichick to the Chargers.
Yeah, I saw Bieniemy as a name. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Why would you want Eric Bieniemy as your head coach? Did you not watch the Skins this whole year? Harbaugh's another name. Keep an eye out. So we'll have plenty of time to talk about the Chargers. Another team that we'll continue to talk about because they found a way to win. I think, their 8th straight AFC West. Andy Reid, a model of consistency. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't easy. Swifties had to sweat this one out. Chiefs get it done 25-17. If you had the Bengals +7, like myself, this was a tough one to swallow, considering they held the lead in the fourth quarter. This one hurt from a backdoor cover with Kansas City. I thought the Bengals were the better team for 2+ quarters, but the Chiefs, championship pedigree, that they just find ways to win.
Yeah, I was on the Chiefs, so I was happy to see them pull out that 8-point win. They should have won this by more. This should have been a pissed off, run it up on a Bengals team
Yeah.
that has some flaws, especially with Jake Browning as their quarterback. But they didn't, and they won, but not how they should have. I don't trust this team. I mean, we've said it before. I don't trust this team in the playoffs. This team is kind of broken. I'm not sure what the problem is. If it's just receivers, if there's too many distractions, I don't know what it is, but there is something that seems broken about this team. They shouldn't be this questionable with a defense that's been playing the way it did all year. I mean, their defense has been pretty solid all year. It's just the offense with Patrick Mahomes. How can you be so questionable here?
Well,
It's interesting.
and they had more drops on Sunday.
Yeah.
Scantling dropped the ball, and then he's like, he threw it behind me. It's like, dude, shut the hell up and catch the football. It hits you in both hands. Shut
Yeah.
up. Like, you guys, where did the one hit you against the fucking Eagles on Monday night? It hit you right square in the hands in stride. So maybe you've thrown it behind you because you can't catch. I'm with you, man. This should have been a blowout, but the
Mhm.
Chiefs play with their food just like the Eagles. It's really fascinating watching the Eagles and Chiefs just not delivering these smash spots over and over and over again. I don't think either of those teams can turn it on. I think the Chiefs can win a playoff game at Arrowhead.
Mhm.
I think they could win one.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Mahomes play on the road if he has to.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Mahomes on the road in a playoff game.
In
Obviously
Buffalo.
hasn't done that. Yeah, in Buffalo. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo would rock them.
I hope so. I mean, I want Buffalo to get it just because Buffalo hasn't had the home field against Kansas City ever. I feel like they play every year twice, and the game's always in Kansas City. I can't remember the last time they played in Buffalo. So,
Yeah, agreed.
Chiefs locked into the 3 seed. You know they're going to be rooting for the actually, they're probably not rooting for the Bills. They're going to be rooting for the Dolphins to be the 2 seed so that they would go to potentially Miami in the second round. But if the Bills do win, they play the Dolphins, and I'm sure they're not scared of the Dolphins. Even though it'd be cool to see Tyreek Hill back at Arrowhead in a return game.
Yeah, true. That would be neat.
We got a lot of potential return games. Tyreek Hill to Arrowhead, Flacco to Baltimore, Stafford back to Detroit, Ford Field. Got a lot of moving parts in these playoffs, so we'll be here every step of the way.
Yeah, it makes for good football.
Do you even want to recap this final one?
Fuck the Packers. Fuck the Vikings. Fuck them all.
My dumbass fucking bet the Vikings too. I thought the Vikings. I'm like, all right, they're gonna pop up here. Jaron Hall, they're gonna script some things up for him. I don't believe in these Packers on the road. Wrong side. Shout out to the Packers. I thought the Packers were treading water and they were gonna sink here. They even brought Kirk Cousins out shirtless to freaking do the skull chant. They brought every stop out. And then the Packers just punch him right in the mouth. That thing was over in 5 minutes. They never had a shot. Great win, Packers. Jordan Love played some good football. Good job, Matt LaFleur as well. Good win, Pack.
Yeah.
Hard
to still hear it. Well, you won't be next week when the Bears beat the Packers. Yeah, no.
How are the Packers and Steelers both mathematically in still? It's amazing.
Agreed. Yeah, shout out to them for having a good game. The Vikings suck. They, I don't know, they're just their quarterback. Once Cousins got hurt, I know Dobbs had some magic here and there, but they were pretty much done after Cousins got hurt, it seems like. And the Packers made him pay for it for starting Nick Mullins and Jaron Hall and then Nick Mullins. I mean, they just couldn't get it done. They couldn't get anything done. Their run game is atrocious. They probably should have kept Dalvin Cook, even though he's sucked too. And now the Jets are cutting him. I just saw. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of either of these teams. I think the Vikings, if they don't keep Kirk Cousins next year or bring him back, they're fools because their offense looks so much better with him. For the Packers, I mean, I never thought Jordan Love was the guy. He's shown that he can be, I think. I mean, he's not going to be a Rodgers or Favre, but he is going to be a guy that can win you football games and could be their next franchise quarterback. I don't know. It's just go Bears. Go Bears next week. That's all I can say about this. I wish it would have ended in a tie.
Yeah, I know this one hurt because it's like of all teams to eliminate your Bears, it was the Packers. It's like, oh, these guys will continue to be a thorn in our side. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Bears got a chance to spoil the Packers party. Packers in a winning you're in situation could potentially go back to Ford Field where they've already won, or they could go to the Packers aren't going to be scared of Dallas either. I don't think.
No.
So Packers winning pedigree, find a way to stay alive. How did they not start Dobbs here? I was thinking that like
Yeah, I
10
don't
minutes in.
know.
I'm like, I thought Kevin O'Connell's done a great job, but I thought he whiffed here.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, Dobbs, I know he had some games where he looked bad, but I think a lot of that was just kind of the pressure building up. I mean, why not start him here? I don't get it, because out of the three options, Dobbs, Mullins, and Hall, he gives them the best chance to win.
Especially just because of his legs. I mean, that Vikings line was leaking oil at the end of the years, and then he could create and extend plays with his legs. So,
Yep.
all right, man, that's the final 16th game in the Week 17 slate. We only got 16 more of these games, then we're on to the playoffs. So, you guys can find me at Moneyline_Mac. I'll be back tomorrow, and I will yield to you, my friend, because you got a big announcement. We got a big show here over on Old Fashioned Football later tonight. Floor is yours.
Tomorrow night, but
God damn it, I did it again.
yeah, we're switching to Wednesdays for the off season of fantasy football, but Whiskey Wednesday, we're doing our 100th episode. So we got guests, we got booze, we got recapping just some of our 100 episodes, our guests that we've had on, stuff like that. Some never before released footage of when Sam Macho joined our show. It's going to be a fun time. So make sure you check it out at Old Fashioned FB. Check out the live show on YouTube. Grab a drink, come have a drink with us. Let us know your best fantasy football call this year and your worst. We're curious to find out.
I don't know why I thought it was Wednesday. Today's only Tuesday. I'm all jacked up for the holidays.
It's the holidays. It does that.
Yeah. All right. Well, go check out the Old Fashioned Football tomorrow night for the 100th episode. I'll be there as well. Find me at Moneyline_Mac. He's at JMark Football. Any last words before we get out of here, man?
Go Bears. We'll see you
Go Bears.
tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. Go Cowboys. Beat the Skins. Give me that second pick. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Let it ride.